Peace. All right, so today I wanted to sit down and just have a little conversation about womb wellness. So I got up inspired today. I did some live streaming on Facebook and just thought, hey, I need to do a YouTube video. It's been a while. I got my bush tea ready. Bush tea is something that is done around the Caribbean. Where I live in Puerto Rico, but this kind of bush tea that I make, I was inspired to start making when I was living on St. Croix, which I'm kind of back and forth there. And it has homegrown lemongrass that I grew from seed, Tulsi basil that I grew from seed, and moringa that I grew from seed. So I have my little potted garden out back because I don't have land really, a space with any planting land, but I do have some wonderful plants that are producing and allowing me to have fresh herbs. So, I just simmered the herbs and I have a beautiful bush tea now. So, this video is about ancestral practices, indigenous practices that increase womb wellness. So, a lot of women are like, okay, well, what is going on? I think a lot of women are hearing about this whole concept of the importance of focusing on your womb and your gynecological region, because it's more than just organs that, we hold babies in and all of that. Your womb is the space from which women create from. Our intuition is housed there. Our overall vitality and wellness kind of emanates from the womb center. So if that is congested, if it's toxified, if we're in pain, if we have a lot of dis-ease, like fibroid cysts, PCOS, endometriosis, infertility, different cysts and growths and tissue malformations and things that take place that really make it hard to really live a kind of empowered and vital existence. And so we have to work on this. And I started this work only a few years ago, but I was inspired many, many years ago in the 90s by the great Queen Afua, who has been teaching women all over the world. I was blessed to live in Brooklyn and be able to go see her from time to time at her center, or at least go to events there. And I never really stepped into it all the way. At that time, I was still finishing college, trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, in a certain way. But, over time, I always got drawn back to the healing arts. So I ended up in Chinese medicine school. Then, would go and travel different parts of the world and kind of take in different practices that I saw people doing or that I was learning from different teachers about. And then finally it kind of culminated into me finishing my master's this year, but in alternative medicine. So I never finished Chinese medicine, but now so I've kind of done, I kind of have a balance of, studying in structured environments and then just kind of learning through people that I meet and having master teachers. So I'm really blessed, and some of the stuff I want to talk about, because we do have a retreat coming up in June called Dos Aguas, Healing Waters Womb Wellness Retreat. So some of what I want to talk about is, what are these specific techniques that, for instance, we'll be talking about at the retreat, workshopping about? What are some of the things that we can pull on that our ancestors have been dealing with that help to increase wellness? And when we talk about womb wellness, we're not talking about you just focusing on your womb and then the rest of your life is whatever. No, obviously any kind of wellness attempt has to be a holistic one. So that means we need to be thinking about what we're eating, because that's huge. It's huge, but it's not everything, and I think that's one thing that some people get hung up on. Because it's huge. We do need to be eating a very kind of alkaline-based, plant-based. I really like to emphasize plant-based diet, or not diet, really livity, because there's no reason to talk about diet if you eat in life. You're eating life. So we also have to focus on some of the different tools. We have essential oils. You know, we have Yoni eggs. Certain Yoni eggs. I sell Yoni eggs. I provide them for women. They're beautiful. You know, they're a way to kind of stimulate certain aspects of the womb's healing. You know, increase oxygenation, increase blood flow, work the muscles in the pelvic region, and really, really just kind of put women more in tune with and centered in feeling and being connected to their being connected to their wombs. Kind of reinstating some of that sensuality that a lot of women tend to kind of block out, or there's a disconnection that's created between the body and the yoni, a lot of times based upon trauma, because they've got so many statistics out saying really most women go through some kind of sexual trauma. I can say from personal experience that that sexual trauma doesn't just go away real easy like that. It's not like you just keep it moving. It's something that women tend to house. It becomes lodged as toxin and toxic emotion in the womb center. And then it becomes very difficult because you're laden down, you're congested in that way. It becomes very difficult to actually lift yourself up and to empower yourself and go forward in the world in a healthy way, create healthy relationships, build healthy families. So this is what we're talking about, and this is everything. And the yoni eggs are really important, and I do sell a lot of those, and I do consultations around those. Because I try to help as many ways as I can, and I'll put the links underneath the video for my websites and different things. Yoni steaming is something else that I promote. And this is an indigenous practice. Yoni steaming is practiced all over the world, really. I mean, the things I've heard about in Guyana and the women using it really to tonify the yoni, to tighten it, to provide more sexual pleasure for themselves and their partners, but also to begin to help with the kind of movement of energy and flow and increase of oxygen and healthy fluids and sacred water flow in the womb. So as you're steaming and allowing that heat and those volatile oils and those plant oils, because it's the volatile oils which are the active constituents in the plants. And for instance, in this particular scene, there's rose petals, there's calendula, there's yarrow, there's lavender, there's motherwort. These are herbs with their own plant oils. And as you take those in through the very supple and soft and receptive yoni area, you're able to kind of absorb the healing capacities of these herbs. So it's very important, that we have practices like this. Yoni steaming, I first kind of learned about it living in Quintana Roo in Tulum, Mexico. A lot of the Mayan women utilize that practice. They also utilize a practice called womb massage. Okay, I've learned some of the Arvigo. She's taken some of the Mayan massage and kind of adapted it or whatever. But I've also learned some of the self-fertility massage. And so I help women with that, teach them how to actually work with themselves and to actually do the massage on themselves so that they can be empowered at home to do things that increase their wellness and their womb health. So we have all of these things. There's castor packing. I mean, you can't get more ancient than the castor pack. Castor oil is a plant that's grown here in the Caribbean. I've seen a lot of them on St. Croix in particular. I've seen some. I don't know if I've seen castor here in Puerto Rico, but doing the castor packing. Castor is a very powerful oil, and when it goes in through the skin with a hot pack on top, that you can pack onto the womb and the lower abdomen. It is just a very powerful stimulator that assists in kind of removal of inflammation. It helps to increase the flow of lymph, okay? Increase the flow of blood. So that's what you want to do. You want to increase fluidity. And so in using the castor packs, women begin to see that things there's like an opening up of energy or releasing of energy that is healing energy that may have been bound up. And so you start to see that the womb can start to release things like fibroid cysts and some of the health challenges that women deal with. So things begin to get released. They might move out. You might see them in the blood flow. PCOS, ovarian cysts, different things that are affecting that whole region can begin to be released and cleared. And again, these things, we collect and we hold in the womb. And so if you're dealing with trauma, if you're dealing with a toxic lifestyle, a lot of alcohol, a lot of bad food, all of these things, you're going to have like this accumulation of toxic kind of waste and energy. And it really does collect in the womb. And this is why women are dealing with so many menstrual issues, heavy bleeding, clotting, and uncomfortable, because your hormones, all that signaling, it gets offset when there's a lot of stress, stuck tension from trauma and different things in the womb. So then you have your hormonal system is out of balance. And so with that, you're going to be having more bad symptoms during the menses, more issues around infertility. You're having more issues with change of life when women are going into, when the menses is starting to slow down and, estrogen is falling off. And so there's a lot of things. And so we can do a lot to support ourselves, but we have to just keep the mentality that womb healing is a system. It's a ancestral system, but it's also a lifestyle, and we have to look at it as a lifestyle and start to practice more self-care and self-love, even while in the midst of having a balanced family and mates and children and careers and businesses and all of that. We still have to take time for ourselves on a regular basis. It's it's every day. It's most of the day, every day. You have to be thinking about what can I be doing for myself, at least getting it in there, taking moments, go out to the water. If you have the ocean near you, go soak. Those waters, all of the waters, the river waters, we're talking about the negative ions, the stress release, the kind of, the release that takes place when you're in those waters. You want to do that as much as you can. If you can't get to bodies of water, take your sea salt baths. Sea salt is powerful. Take your sea salt baths and allow that to purge you. We also do sea salt scrubs and create, different soaks and things for women. Again, I'll post the links below, but it's really just about doing as many things as you can, ritual-wise, journaling, womb journaling. So it's a system, and I didn't want this video to be too long, but I just wanted to kind of do an introduction to some of what we have available to us. If you want to know more, you can come by my website. It's www.inheralchemywomb.com and by my shop at www.earthpalette.com. EARTHPALATE.com. And just see, what we can do for you. You can book consultations. There's a lot of things we can do to help support your process. And then if you want more of an intensive, we do have the retreat coming up, the Dos Aguas Healing Waters Womb Wellness Retreat. We'll be working with the goddess energies at the waters. So we have Oshun, Mami Wata, we have Yemoja. We'll be working with all of those energies in ritual and ceremony, as well as getting into some of these techniques and doing hands-on and workshopping and eating plant-based foods and experiencing a little bit of like what this beautiful naturesque place that I live in has to offer. Puerto Rico, there's so many waterways, there's so many rivers, there's so many gorgeous ocean seaside experiences we can have, going into the rainforest, just connecting with the energy of the land, and then being able to have some exposure to the rich culture that's here, because I wouldn't want anyone to come to Puerto Rico and not experience, in particular, some of the African culture that has been retained here in the bomba and in the music and the dance. So link me if you're interested in learning more. Peace and love, y'all.